Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Welcome to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It's your host for tonight's show, Jamie Antonello, in place of David McKeag. Dave is still on vacation until early to mid-June. We're not quite sure. You're listening to the show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or through our social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Very pleased to have you stop by to listen for us. Always an action-packed show, as always, on this edition of the game. Our board operator is the one and only Scott Nason, making myself and the crew sound great. And for tonight's edition, we are live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. This is best sports bar 3 years in a row, here for its famous Wednesday 75-cent wing nights. Along with those wings, you can enjoy a delicious pizza or various delicious food options from the menu. And of course, delicious Molson products that are advertised on this Wednesday edition of the game. It may sound a bit quieter than you're used to for a SportsCenter show, but that's for a good reason. SportsCenter is packed. Due to that, special thanks goes out to the wonderful staff here who's hooked us up with a private room so that you, the listener, can have a better listening experience. You can listen to previous editions this week on the Podbean page or on other social media pages, along with this past Monday's Wicked Sister Eagle 95.1 edition, and of course Tuesdays from Icebreakers have been canceled for the entire month until Dave returns. Tomorrow, aka Thursday, we'll have our show from Northern Superior, led by Justin and yours truly, talking about everything MLB and NHL playoffs now that the Stanley Cup final is set. Boston and St. Louis, here we go. Going into next week, we'll have shows Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but make sure to have an eye on our social media pages for any potential changes. For tonight, I'll be talking NBA and NFL news in part 2, obviously highlighted by the Toronto Raptors evening their series against the Milwaukee Bucks. But before all that, I got the first Sabrecats game of the year to break down for you. What a game it was. Man, if anybody was out there, it was a downpour. It was a comeback for the ages. We stressed all week in practice, and I wish Matt was here. He was unable to make it tonight, so I'm flying solo. But what a game we had. Our Cats came out with a 41-38 victory, despite being down 38-16 with 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. For those of you that have never experienced Canadian football, that is the beauty of it. Literally anything can happen in a short amount of time. We were able to score 3 game-changing touchdowns in the last half of a quarter of play. But we started out really slow. I mean, we 100% stressed in practice about starting fast. Our last 3 seasons, we've gone 0-1 to start the year. Last season, we started 0-2 after narrowly dropping a couple of tight games. And as a staff, we really emphasized the importance of getting off to a hot start, especially at home. We have the best home field advantage in the entire OFC. For those of you listening in, that's the Ontario Football Conference with the Sault Sabrecats play in. Being in Sault Ste. Marie, we're such a select market. Being in the Northern Ontario, we're so far away from all the other Southern Ontario teams, and our closest opponent was Sudbury, and they unfortunately folded this year, and will hopefully be back in another league, hopefully back in our league next year after taking a year hiatus. But with that being gone, realistically our closest opponent is Huronia, which is near Barrie, or Chatham, just for the simple fact that we go through the States. But week 1 against Brantford, they had a long road to go. They were a team that we played in the playoffs last year. We were the 2 seed hosting them. They were the 3 seed in the semifinal game. We were able to get a decisive victory in the playoffs against them last year, so we knew they were going to come ready to go. Traditionally, I mean, we talked about it. We've had slow starts, but wow, what a game to experience. Pouring rain. We started poorly. We were down 24-0 in the first quarter. Could not have gone worse. We fumbled the kickoff. We let them run right down our throats to start. Had a bad turnover. Had a punt blocked. They returned a kickoff to our 5-yard line. And before you knew it, by halftime, it was 38-16, and we were drowning. But as a staff, I don't think any of us panicked. We stayed calm. I'm talking to the offense at halftime, and even I know talking to our defensive coaches after, everything was, we knew we were the better team. We knew we were a team that could come back. It was whether or not the kids could believe it. So we maintained positive attitude, and we started the third quarter doing well, started moving the ball on offense a little bit. Our defense pitched a shutout in the second half, thankfully, and that was a huge reason why we won the game. But moving forward into the game, a real turning point for us was early in the fourth quarter. Brantford had already started to kind of roll a couple backups in, which we were surprised by, and their backup QB ended up throwing an errant pass to the field side, and first-year varsity player Ethan Fawcett, who led the entire junior varsity loop last year in interceptions, picked off the errant throw and returned it almost 50 yards for a touchdown, and that really sparked the comeback. We were down 38-16 at that point, made it 38-22. We went for the 2-point conversion. We're unsuccessful. Went back on defense, and that we just kept rolling from there. Defense got a stop, and then ended up blocking a punt and recovering it in the end zone. Christian Alfano getting in on that recovery with Julian Joya with the block. Unbelievable play by those guys. Shout out to Brandon Corelli, our special teams coordinator, for designing that up. But after that, it made it 38-28, and we were a team that was feeling it. Brantford was slow; they hadn't scored a point since 5 minutes to go in the first half. Our offense really capitalized. When we broke down the film after, they really were able to capitalize on turnovers. Our defense had a pick early in the game, and we were able to score 2 plays later. Then our defense forced a fumble, and we were able to score on the ensuing play. And those were only 2 scores of the first half. But we really turned it on in that fourth quarter. I can't believe it. I've been a part of some crazy games. As a staff, we were talking about a game we coached in Niagara in 2015. And that was probably one of the craziest games to experience. But that was more of a back-and-forth game. We ended up winning on a last-second touchdown pass. But we were never down like we were in this game. It was a comeback for the ages. I mean, 22 points in the last 6 minutes. It doesn't happen often. And it really showed what resilience our team had. But being down in the fourth quarter, we were down 38-28. Defense really stepped up. We ended up blocking a second punt, scoring, making it 38-34. And we elected to go. We tried to kick the convert to follow the touchdown, make it 35. So we were within a field goal. In our league, there is no overtime in regular season. And we ended up taking a penalty on the convert. They ended up blocking it after that. So we were down 4 still. And realistically, that was part of the reason why we won the game too. So everything fell into place. And then late in the game, we were able to force a turnover on defense again. Offense got a drive. We went right down. 1st and goal from the 1. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a bad exchange in the backfield, and our quarterback took a sack. Following play, hand the ball off to Zach Zeppa, gets us back down to the 2. And then we took a timeout on the 3rd and goal. There was about 2 minutes left, I believe, and we made a ballsy call, threw it on the goal line. Tyler Brecken was able to catch it. Taylor Hall and Rob Wright threw huge blocks for him. He was able to put his foot in the ground and get in and really put us up in the game, and we never looked back. But unbelievable effort from our guys. Couldn't be more proud, and it was tough. Those are the games that you really think about, and those can be landmark games. But realistically, we're only 1-0 at this point. It's an 8-game season. We're heading off to Oakville next weekend, but considering the weather, it was raining, guys were wet, tired. We were down by 3 touchdowns with 6 minutes to go. I can't overemphasize. I'm still fired up about it. But we're on to Oakville, to use a Bill Belichick phrase. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Oakville, our next opponent. We already had 1 practice yesterday, and I think we look pretty good. We're ready for it. They're a very different team as far as scheme on offense and defense, without giving anything away here. So we had to do some different prep this week, but we made our adjustments. First game, I mean, you're always going to have some issues. You're going to blow some assignments. Special teams are always a bit of a wild card. You never know. You just hope there isn't an issue. I mean, we had a couple of mistakes on specials in the first half, but then we made 2 massive plays on special teams with 2 block punts in the fourth quarter. So it's a full team effort, 3 phases of the game. When you play 3-down football, you have to practice all 3. You have to put effort into all 3. And those guys that are playing a lot of special teams usually aren't your starters on offense or defense, but they have a massive role. There's a reason why there's special teams captains in the NFL, why guys in the CFL play for 12-plus years as a Canadian player, because their role on special teams is invaluable to the team, and they need to be on there, and they need to be on the dress roster, and they need to be playing, and those are valuable snaps as a unit. But as far as Oakville, we're heading on the road. So our first road game, I love our first road game. It's always fun. we always are able to have a team bonding event. It's always the guys are really first opportunity for a lot of them, especially with varsity where we have 3 age groups going, 19-year-olds, grade 12s, and grade 11s. So we have a lot of those grade 11s would have never played football with those 19-year-olds before. And I mean, we've been in practice, been in training camp, we've been through a game, through a war of a game, and really looking forward to getting on the road. We got to get used to that bus trip. Most of our guys have played JV and varsity before, so we're used to the long road. And if we can go take another game, start 2-0, that'll be the first time we've started 2-0 in 7 seasons. So that would be a huge, huge start. And then we can take it into Chatham on the road again, hopefully get going, really get rolling as a team. I think confidence is high. We had a really, really good film session on Tuesday after practice. But I know Coach Premo and I talked after the game, and even talked with Coach Mahler, Coach Corelli, Coach Duplin, all these guys, and Coach Dustin, who is still on paternity leave, I believe, from our show. But all these guys were unbelievably excited about it. We love our group. We think this is a championship team. And bottom line, I think that was the first step in what hopefully is going to be a long, long run into August football, which for those of you that don't know, in the UFC, only 2 teams get to play into August this year. So you know what that means. But our next home game is actually going to be June 15th. So we have 2 on the road. We play our next home game is going to be June the 8th. We play 2 on the road. So May 25th, we're in Oakville. That's our next game. And then June 1st, we're playing in Chatham. Before on June the 8th, we welcome the Hamilton Hurricanes here for our second game at home. Again, it is a doubleheader. Our JV team plays at 1. Varsity team plays at 4. Again, at Spear Heights. I know our home opener was a bit of a rainy day, so we didn't have as big a crowd out there, but really hoping we can get tons of fan support. As always, we're keeping everybody up to date through social media with Sabrecats. I mean, the Sabrecats Facebook page, which is run by Steve Knott, our team president and JV offensive coordinator, and myself and Matt Premo run our varsity Sault Sabrecats Instagram, which is at Sault Sabrecats. We try and keep as much info on there as possible. And our most recent post is actually our schedule for home and away for varsity. But this is Jamie Antonello. You're here from Sportscenter Bar and Grill in this lovely private room. Once again, thank you to Sportscenter. But heading into part 2 pretty soon. Lots of Sabrecat talk. We just nailed that down. Really looking forward to next week, getting back to practice tomorrow. But we got some NBA to talk about coming up shortly.
The Game Sports Show wants to thank its original home, partner, and sponsor since 2015, Sportscenter Bar and Grill, named the Sioux's best sports bar for 3 years in a row. Sportscenter Bar and Grill is located on 624 Wellington Street West in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Make sure to come on down to Sportscenter to enjoy the great atmosphere with great cold beverages available, including those delicious Molson products. Don't forget about their famous 75-cent wing nights on Wednesdays. They're truly the best wings in town. Like and follow SportsCenter on Facebook at SportsCenter SSM. We look forward to seeing you today. SportsCenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company, it's a northern thing.
Get wicked catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsue.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
And welcome back to the Game Sports Show for part 2. We're still here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. This is Jamie Antonello coming to you live. Again, we are in the private room tonight. Special thanks to the staff here, Alicia, our girl. But we're in this private room because Sportscenter is absolutely bumping. It is insane. It is the Sioux's best sports bar for a reason. Come on down if you haven't checked it out before. Best wings in town. Great atmosphere. And we're into part 2 now. So the NFL, we got some news. Mainly what came out today was the NFL draft for the next couple years. The NFL draft has really become more of a show than it ever was. If you are a proponent or an shouldn't say that, but an avid watcher of NFL Network, you will have seen clips from past drafts where it's kind of boring. It's in a boardroom of a hotel in New York or wherever, NFL headquarters. It's nothing really. There's an official from each team. He hands it to the commissioner. He says it. The draft. They used to do the whole draft, which back then was, I believe, 14 rounds. For reference, today's draft is 7 rounds. They used to do the whole draft in a day. Now it's 7 rounds. It takes 3 days to do. So it's become really a show, much like the Super Bowl has taken on a mind of its own a little bit, where it's now Super Bowl week leading up to the event. And the host city really benefits from this. It's tons of revenue. You get fans coming in. Everybody's going to restaurants. Everybody's buying stuff. Everybody's checking out the attractions in the local city. And this past year in Nashville, the draft, this past April, it was unbelievable. Nashville is an unbelievable city. If you've never been, you need to go check it out. If you like country music, even if you don't, there's live music everywhere. The main strip is unbelievable. The fan base there for any major sport is wild. But Pro Football Focus just kind of released some analytics of the draft, and not the analytics you're thinking of. I'm talking about some analytics regarding the fans that attended the draft this year. And on Thursday night, which was opening night of the draft, the whole first round was done that night. Pro Football Focus said there was roughly 140,000 people on the main road in downtown Nashville leading up to the draft stage, which is unbelievable considering most people don't consider Nashville one of those top 10, even top 15 major cities in the United States of America. People wouldn't be surprised. People are never surprised in Boston because the Patriots are always good. When you see a Super Bowl parade, or in San Francisco with the Golden State Warriors when they have their championship parades. All that stuff is crazy. But for the NFL draft to take on that. But the real news of today is they've announced the next 3 of the next 4 cities that are going to be hosting the NFL draft. And for those people that live in New York who were so used to, it was at the historic Radio City Music Hall every year. Unfortunately, the NFL has also kind of indirectly said it's never coming back because of the unbelievable success that they've had with the draft traveling to a new city every year, the revenue it's able to bring to that city, being able to see fans from everywhere and fans from cities that wouldn't always get that major NFL event, or even cities that have had some struggles on the field, never really get to have a playoff game, never get to have those primetime games. You get the whole event, the CBS crew, the Fox crew, the NFL Network crew, NBC, whatever. They never are able to come to those cities, and you never really get that full event. But next year, 2020, is Las Vegas. And if Vegas knows how to do one thing, it is throw a party. So I can only imagine Nashville was wild this year. Vegas is going to be next level come 2020 in April. And following that, we're going to Cleveland. So I really hope that Cleveland can keep this core of players together. Their offense looks unbelievably exciting. Baker Mayfield, man, I hope he doesn't have a sophomore slump. I think he's primed to have a great season, potential offensive player of the year, potential MVP season everybody's talking about. With all the weapons, he's got Jarvis and Odell and Njoku, Chubb in the backfield, like unbelievable weapons all over the place. And then 2022 has not been announced, but 2023 will be in Kansas City. So we know Chiefs Nation is a proud fan group. I'm really excited to see what happens there. And I'm excited to see it kind of travel amongst the 32 teams. The only thing the NFL has said is they're not going to be heading to like LA, Miami, any of the major markets that regularly host Super Bowls. So unfortunately, that means that New Orleans potentially would not get one, which I think would be amazing to see downtown New Orleans, full Mardi Gras style. I think that would be wild. Myself being a Saints fan, I think I'd be extra excited for that year. But 2022 was left specifically open by the NFL with the hope that one of these major markets that doesn't traditionally host a Super Bowl would jump at the bait or put in a good bid, or maybe they have already decided on it, they just didn't want to announce it. But immediately what comes to mind is Boston. I think New England fans if you're a Boston sports fan, let's be real, you've been spoiled. I mean, the Bruins are in the Cup again this year. Patriots won last year. Red Sox won last year. Celtics are always a perennial top 4 in the East. Even if you lose Kyrie and whatever, who knows? Things are going to go on. But Boston sports, you always have a playoff team there. You're never deprived of good sports action. And, I mean, anybody who's a fan of, like, Barstool Sports or any of those things, I mean, you see the Boston accent's hilarious. I think they're diehard fans for a reason. They love their sports. And, I mean, I think that in 2022, that would be the natural place to go. Outside of that, I mean, Pittsburgh would be a potential landing spot. I'm sure Dave would love that if he's listening here from his couch at home, wherever he is. But I think that's another option. Seattle is one that jumps to mind too for me. I think the 12s. I mean, in Seattle, the Seahawk fans, I think they would really put on a good show. I think it'd be fun. Hopefully, the rain would hold off for 3 days while they were there. But those are the ones that really pop into my brain immediately. Moving forward with a little bit of other NFL news. Ndamukong Suh has signed with the Buccaneers. So, unfortunately, I think this may be the end. Myself, being a former Bucs fan, sure, fans, hate on me all you want. All my co-hosts do already. No biggie. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. I think the Bucs is kind of where people go to die now. And as soon as Bruce Arians signed there to be the head coach, I felt so bad. BA, he's my guy. I love him. If anybody who's ever watched the All or Nothing series put on by Amazon, when they did it with Arizona, that was one of the most entertaining things. I put it up there second with the season of Hard Knocks that focused around the New York Jets when they were led by Rex Ryan in 2010. I loved that season of All or Nothing. Bruce Arians he's been around the game forever. He's coached and been a coach with legends of the game, Peyton Manning, Bear Bryant, like huge names in our sport. But unfortunately, I just think the Bucks are like a dying franchise right now. They need a restart, and as long as they're holding on to Jameis Winston, I think it's not going to happen. No matter if you add Ndamukong Suh to play alongside Gerald McCoy. We saw what happened when he played alongside Aaron Donald, but Aaron Donald had 20 and a half sacks. Gerald McCoy had half that last year, along with the LA Rams having an unbelievable defense and a top 3 offense in the league. It's a different formula. I don't think Jameis is the guy. I don't think he'll ever be the guy. I think he's going to play out this year, and either the Bucks are going to sign him again, which is a mistake, and then it's like, well, see you later, Tampa Bay, be the bottom of the NFC South for another couple years. Or, I mean, maybe he'll turn it around and he'll start playing well. Or what I realistically think is going to happen is they're going to part ways. Or they're going to draft a QB, or they're going to sign somebody in free agency, and Jameis is going to end up being either a journeyman or he'll be out of the league soon. Maybe he'll end up in the CFL. Who knows? Doubt it, but probably. Otherwise, Chris Long has retired officially. The DN from the Philadelphia Eagles, formerly the St. Louis Rams, and the New England Patriots. Couple Super Bowls under his belt. Unbelievable guy. I mean, unbelievable character guy. And I think the amount of stuff he's done for charity, I mean, really having to say goodbye to him is a bit. It's a loss for the game, and I think, but he'll maintain himself around there. He comes from a football family. Anybody who watches Fox on any football Sunday knows that his dad Howie is a fixture on there. But Chris Long, I mean, I think he's happy with where he is. 11 seasons, couple Super Bowls, a lot of playoff runs. Not an unbelievable stat line by any means, but I think what he's been able to do for the game, and more so his legacy that he's going to leave off the field, is a lot more about what he's going to really put his stamp on his career. I think that's the stuff he's going to be remembered for. You only played 11 seasons. That's a small percentage of your life when you break it down, and I think what he's going to do moving forward is going to be even greater. I think across the league, I mean, we're seeing training camps mini camps. I apologize. They're still going, but things are kind of in and out. We're seeing guys report to the facility. Different things are going on. Not really sure if there's a ton of news there, but the big news that we got to jump into now, the NBA and your Toronto Raptors. Last Wednesday when we recorded, Game 1 was happening. We delayed our recording so that we could watch the game. It was a bumping atmosphere at Sportscenter last week. And once again, I'm back. It's Jamie Antonello hosting solo from Sportscenter. But we got to talk about these last 3 games for Raptors. And before I talk about Game 4, I got to talk about Game 2. Oh boy. For Raptor fans, I mean, after watching Game 1, how tight it was, and then Milwaukee was able to take it away from us at the end, really open it up in the last 3 minutes. Tough one to swallow. Game 2, even harder. Blowout loss, 125-103 in Milwaukee, going down 0-2 to start a series. The odds are against you in the NBA. It is not like any other professional sport that plays a series, so NFL excluded from that, but it's not like MLB or NHL where it's almost anything can happen. We've seen the Boston Red Sox come down from 3-0. We've seen teams in the NHL come down from 3-1 multiple times to go on to win the Cup. I mean, all you got to think about is the Chicago Blackhawks of the early 10s. They did that in, I believe, 2015. They were able to do that, come down 3-1 in multiple series. Doesn't happen in the NBA. The percentage of teams that win a series after being down 3-1 in the NBA is like less than 5. And, of course, anybody who's a basketball fan will remember the Cavs coming back to beat Golden State when they were down 3-1. But, I mean, LeBron James is LeBron James. He's a different bird. And when he goes into 0 dark 30-23 mode, leaves his Instagram at home, doesn't pay attention for the playoffs, he's a different guy. He's a top 5 player, potentially the top player in the NBA for a reason. But back to our Toronto Raptors and Milwaukee Bucks. You go down 0-2, and again, the old saying in sports, you're never in trouble till you lose at home. Now, if that were to stay true, we're going to lose in 7 as a Raptor fan, but hopefully after these last 2 games we can really pull it out. Then we go to Game 3, and man, did Kawhi show up. I saw a great tweet from Sid Sixero, who's the host in Sportsnet, co-hosted Tim and Sid. He tweeted out, and not verbatim here, I'm just kind of paraphrasing, said, Game 3, Kawhi said, hey, teammates, I got you. Game 4, teammates said, hey, Kawhi, we got you. And I thought it was perfectly fitting. But Game 3, Toronto was able to win 118-112 in double overtime. Defensive battle. That's like a regular score for a Golden State game. I mean, they're just chucking up threes all over the place with the Splash Brothers. But the Toronto Raptors under Nick Nurse, defensive mentality. Milwaukee's a very, very good team. Their starting five meshes together better than arguably any starting five in the NBA. The issue is their bench is not as deep. The Raptors probably have the deepest bench in the NBA right now. And that's not just the top 4 teams. I think we're expanding into the rest of the league there, but definitely in these final teams that are remaining. The 118-112 game, Kawhi was unbelievable. Could not believe what he was able to do in that game. I mean, you're talking 36 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, went 12 of 13 from the free throw line. He was a monster. Played 52 minutes, led the team, and he's hurt right now. You can see it. But really, what's benefiting now big time is that rest that he got in the regular season. You can say, he played 58 games out of 82 or whatever the number was. Who cares? If we go to the NBA Finals for the first time ever, who gives a flying fuck? Like, as a Raptor fan, you're loving this. Kawhi's shot to ice the Sixers is going to go down in Raptor history. I think it's already probably number 1 in a lot of people's minds. There's a lot of big moments. I mean, Vince Carter, the dunk contest, but yeah, did that win you a series? No. Okay. Kawhi's the truth. He's the man. You got to keep him in town. And then in Game 4, the city is embracing this big time, and they're really making a push. They have created signs that say Kawhi and Dine. And if you're a restaurant or a business, you can post that in your window, and Kawhi will eat or receive whatever service that you're offering for free for life. So this was as of last night, so Tuesday night, there was already 50-plus restaurants, a lawyer's office, there was a gym, not that he's going to go there, but multiple businesses that have already thrown this at them, and a doctor's office, like different things. So I thought it was awesome. I mean, the city's all in. I love it. Hopefully they can keep them. We've seen the track record in the NBA. It's a struggle, but beyond Game 3, Game 4, probably the best team effort I've maybe ever seen out of this Raptor team. We're talking 6 players in double-digit scoring. We're talking Leonard with only 19 points, which you see that stat line immediately and you would go, we lost. We got blown out again. But Kawhi had 5 points at halftime. Unbelievable. And we were up. We never lost a quarter. We dominated the game. We got the win 120-102. We were able to roll guys in. Kawhi didn't play the last 7 minutes, which I think is massive after coming off of a double overtime game where he scored 36, including some clutch shots, and played 52 minutes, So this night, able to really limit his minutes. He's down to 34, which is pretty low for your number 1 player. You look at all those playoff runs that LeBron and even like Steph goes on and all these guys, they're playing 40-plus no matter what. Like, it doesn't happen. You're sitting maybe a couple minutes to start the second quarter, maybe a couple minutes in the middle of the third, and then the last 15 minutes of the game, you're 100% in every single second. It's not even close. But going through the stat lines, the other one that stands out to me is Siakam only had 7 points. So you're talking about your 2 top point guys, but Lowry really stepped up, had a huge night, 25 points. He nailed 3 threes. Powell, though, Norm, man, coming off the bench, had an absolute performance. I think he accounted for 8 points in a row at one point. He was able to sink 4 threes, 18 points off the bench. And then Marc Gasol, 17 points. Mark and Kawhi's chemistry offensively is really starting to shine now. We saw a lot of no-look passes. All it was Gasol just a little bit of a head nod, and he was able to find Kawhi, and then Kawhi had an easy dunk. And we saw Kawhi was coming up a little bit slow a lot of the time. But when Kawhi is able to get to the free throw line 10-plus times, we got a chance. And the way that the Raptors played, they were suffocating defensively. At one point, Milwaukee, they really want to spread everything out, and they try and cut late, leave Giannis on his own, see if he can get a one-on-one. Toronto's not letting that happen. Siakam, Gasol, and Ibaka are playing lockdown, and then Kawhi, Kawhi's arguably the best defender in the NBA for a reason. He's an unbelievable talent. We got to keep him. Holy cow, I can't say enough about it. We got to keep him. It's unbelievable. But I think moving forward, he's the first Raptor to be named defensive, to be named to the first team defensive team for the NBA. We got to keep him here. He's a top 3 guy in the league, especially if we can make to the finals. Then you play Golden State, whatever happens. But speaking of that series, Golden State was able to sweep Portland, which for whoever makes it out of the East is tough. It's always tough when a team is able to sweep and then they get like a week off potentially. But, Golden State got tested a little bit here. Portland, I said Portland would maybe steal a game, right? Lillard would maybe make some plays. Unfortunately, was not able to do it enough. Game 1, Golden State steamrolled them, 116-94. Game 2, a lot closer. Golden State 114-111. Lillard played quite well in all those games, but the X factor is Steph, because KD has been out a little bit throughout this series. Lillard is 100% going to sign a max contract. He's going to get paid. He's the guy in Portland, I think, after making it to the Western Final when realistically they weren't expected to get there. Houston and Denver were definitely favored over them, despite the seeding in the West. And even there's a lot of people that were like, Oklahoma City's definitely better than Portland. And you kind of fly under the radar a little bit, but fart on the radar, as you could say. But Game 3, then Golden State got back to their winning ways, 110-99. Not a blowout, but never really in doubt. And then finally, Portland, they were really fighting Game 4, able to force it to overtime, but Golden State, unfortunately, I'll say unfortunately. Nobody wants to see everybody win a billion times. It's the same thing with the Patriots. I was just raving about Boston sports fans, and don't get me wrong, I would love to see an NFL draft in Boston, but I still think that Boston sports fans are pretty annoying a lot of the time. But Game 4, Dame put up 28, 12 assists. What are you going to do? There's only so much you can do. 4 threes. He had a game. But you look at the other side, Steph. Steph is Steph. 37, 13, and 11. You get a triple-double out of your point guard who's the best three-point shooter in NBA history, and he had 13 rebounds. You're not going to win a lot of games. It just doesn't happen. But I think moving forward, Milwaukee and Toronto playing tomorrow night, Thursday, May 23rd. We're back in Milwaukee. Man, I hope Toronto can keep this momentum going. It's always tough when you're on the road. And Milwaukee has a good home crowd. We think we have a good home crowd in Toronto, and Drake was loving it. He was all over it. He was all about the dub, all about the boys taking it to Giannis and the rest of the Bucks team. But I think it's going to be a tough battle. It's going to be we're going to struggle, but Raptors, they can make the final. Oh, if they can defend the 3 better than Milwaukee. Yeah, so Milwaukee's top 3, that's it. Right? That's all they got. If our bench keeps playing well, we're going to win in 6, I think. And you want to see Toronto go nuts? Let's win in Milwaukee tomorrow night, and then Saturday night basketball in Toronto. It's all the city has right now. Jays are playing well, but still, Vlad Jr. We got some bright spots, but I'm gonna leave that for Justin tomorrow. I'm gonna join him, but mostly just to talk hockey. But Toronto, man, I'm pulling for you. I'm waiting for it. I think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna be all right. But once again, I'm Jamie Antonello from Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Thank you for listening to me. I know it's been monotonous at times. It's just me. But thank you to the listeners for making us a part of your night tonight. Raptors, again, are tied 2-2 in their series, going on to play Game 5 tomorrow night in Milwaukee, 8:30 p.m. start. If we can steal that game, we're winning in 6. I'm calling it. I don't think there's a chance we lose another game at home. If it's whether or not we can steal one of these 2 games. If we steal a game and we win at home, we're going to the NBA Finals. I want to say thanks once again to Frank Ligori and to SportsCenter for, as always, for their partnership and allowing us to host the show. Also, got to make sure I thank Scott Nason, our board op. He's always here. It makes us sound great. And especially, it's going to be an easy job for him tonight. We're in this nice private room. I'm all by myself. Not a lot of editing back and forth. Doesn't have to change the volume on the mics. Hopefully a little bit. Reminder, we have a show tomorrow night from Northern Superior. We're going to be recording around 5:30 p.m., a.k.a. 8:30. I don't know what I'm reading. A.k.a. 8:30. Justin will be hosting. I will be joining in for either the first or the second half of the show, where we will talk Stanley Cup playoffs, where we have our Stanley Cup finals set. It is the Boston Bruins versus the St. Louis Blues. For the first time in 49 years, the St. Louis Blues getting to the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll have more news. We'll talk some Maple Leafs offseason, and we'll talk some Toronto Blue Jays and the rest of the MLB for sure. Once again, I'm Jamie Antonello from Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Make sure, if you haven't come and check out a Sabrecat game yet, please do. Keep up to date with us on Instagram. Keep up with the Game Sports Show on our social media outlets. And make sure you come check out all of our sponsors, Northern Superior and Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Once again, Jamie Antonello here for Dave McKeag, signing off. Have a great evening. Thanks for listening.